there is a lot of need within our community to have access to resources, and there just isn't the resources that we all need. My name is Jared Smith Valentine, and I'm partnered here with Equitas today to talk about the intersectionality between mental health and mental health resources and LGBTQ plus identities. Hey internet friends, my name is Jared Smith Valentine. I'm a mental health therapist with Equitas Health. I'm biromantic, I'm bisexual, cisgender, my pronouns are he, him, and I'm partnered here with Equitas today to talk about the intersectionality between mental health and mental health resources and LGBTQ plus identities. So let's talk why we're making this video. Well, some of the big reasons are that there is a lot of need within our community to have access to resources, and there just isn't the resources that we all need. And that's a shame. And so we're putting out these videos as a way to try to increase our community engagement, as a way to start conversations about stigma, about mental health, and about our gender identities and sexual orientation. Equitas has allowed me to provide this little space to talk and also to show you a really cool demonstration of an activity called Coming Out Stars that is a really, really neat way to talk about the process of coming out over time. And it is applicable and good for us to share our experiences and reflect on gender identity and sexual orientation. And it's also a good tool for allies to kind of get an understanding of how coming out impacts you over time. And I'm looking really, really forward to showing that to you here in a minute. But I've got a couple other things I want to talk to you about first. So before we watch the demonstration, one of the first things I want to talk to you about is ACEs, which in this context is not the guys, gals, and non-binary pals we have in our community who identify as asexual, and instead refers to adverse childhood experiences. An adverse childhood experience is a measure of possibly traumatic events that occurred in childhood that have lifelong impacts. And this is important because in studies of ACEs, LGBTQ plus individuals more than double the ACE scores of their cisgender and heterosexual counterparts. This is important because not only can those traumatic experiences in childhood impact our mental health, but they also have long-lasting physical health disparities associated with them as well. Additionally, we should talk about stressors that specifically come with an LGBTQ plus identity. Researchers and sex therapists like Dr. Joseph Court have turned up data that suggests that just growing up in a heteronormative and cisnormative society have long-lasting impacts to both our growth and development, our identities inside and outside of our sexuality and gender identity, and can impact the way we view ourselves and view others, and the way we manage stress, and the symptoms that pop up for us on mental health and physical health related levels. Now, I want to be clear. One thing I am not saying is that some sort of traumatic event, series of traumatic events, stressors, or environmental experiences caused someone to have an LGBTQ plus identity. That is not research supported, and it is not true based on what we know. However, what I am saying is that because we have LGBTQ plus identities, we are more likely to experience traumatic events. We are more likely to experience stressors and not have resources to deal with them because of implicit and explicit oppression that occurs against minority individuals in a cis and heteronormative society. So let me tell you a little bit about this activity. And I want to start with a trigger warning that watching this activity will hit on issues like suicidality, issues like environmental and traumatic stressors that impact us when we're going through the coming out processes over our lives. And it might be hard for some people to hear or to watch, and that's absolutely fine. I just want you to have that information moving forward. So Coming Out Stars is an activity that deals typically with paper stars that you hand out to people, have them stand in a circle and go through a script which describes different areas of the coming out processes. It deals specifically with a lot of losses that people experience throughout their coming out processes. Now, this version will be a little different. So due to COVID, we have chosen to do this activity virtually. So you will see sort of a teleconferencing session with a lot of different squares for people. I will be in the activity and I will be leading the activity. And instead of having physical stars that people are bending or tearing or moving or manipulating, we're going to use the screens instead. So you're going to see participants raise their hands if they have experienced something based on their star, and you're going to see participants turn on and off their screen when prompted to indicate certain things that have happened to them throughout a coming out process. All right? Well, without any further ado then, let's go ahead and get to the activity. Begin by putting your name or imagining putting your name in the center of the star you've been given to make it your own. Then choose a point of the star to begin with. Now choose a friend who's very close to you, someone you care about very much, a best friend, a close friend. Either write or imagine writing their name on this point, and then rotate your star. Next, think of a community that you belong to. It could be a religious community, your neighborhood, a fraternity or sorority, or just a group of friends. Imagine placing or place the name of that group on the next point, then rotate your star. Now, think of a specific family member, someone you've always turned to for advice, someone who knows how to cheer you up when you're having a bad day, your parents, an aunt or uncle, just someone who's had a large impact on your life. Now, write or imagine writing that person's name on the next point of the star and rotate the star. Next, consider your career aspirations. What's the job you would like to most have? It could be anything. Whatever your aspiration is, write or imagine writing it on your star now and rotate it to the final point. Lastly, what are some of your hopes and dreams? What do you want out of life? What do you look forward to as you get older? Think of a few of these things and write or imagine writing them on the last point of your star. Everyone who now has their completed star, welcome. You are now a member of the LGBTQ plus community for the purposes of this activity. I'm going to ask that during this activity, we remain completely silent. There will be a few different rules in this activity than the traditional coming out stars process. So as you noticed, we are not standing in a circle. We are all going to use these screens. So instead of bending your star, I'm going to ask that at times you raise or lower your hand. There will be a time when you may be asked to turn off your screen. Ready? Let's begin. You've decided it's necessary to come out, and the first person you've decided it would be easiest to tell is a friend. If you have a blue star, your friend has no problem. They suspected and they like that you're honest with them. They act no differently towards you. If you have a yellow or a green star, your friends are hesitant. They're irritated that you didn't tell them sooner, but you're confident that you'll work things out. They're gonna need some space though. So if you have a yellow or a green star, please raise your hand and leave it raised. If you have a red star, you're met with anger and disgust. This friend who's been by your side in the past tells you that being a member of the LGBT community is wrong and they cannot associate with anyone like that. If you have a red star, please raise your hand and leave it raised. Please put your hands down. With many of you having good luck with your friends, you decide the next step is probably to tell your family. So you turn to a family member who you're closest to. If you have a green star, the conversation does not go exactly the way you planned. You're questioned, you're asked how this could have happened, but after some lengthy discussion, the people close to you seem to be more at ease. If you have a green star, raise your hand. You're going to have support from your family, but it's going to take a moment. If you have a blue star, you're embraced by this family member. They are so proud that you decided to be honest with them. You will always have this person to be there for you. If you have a yellow or a red star, Their family member rejects the thought of being related to someone who is a member of the LGBT community. Much like some of your friends, they mentioned that they were disgusted. You are thrown out of the house and disowned. You are now part of the over 40% of the homeless youth population that identifies as LGBT. Please raise your hand if you have a yellow or a red star and leave it raised. Having told your friends and family, the wheels have started to turn, and soon members of your community become aware of your sexuality or your gender identity. If you have a green or a blue star, it's accepted in your community. They continue to embrace you like anyone else, and together you celebrate the growing diversity of your community. Oh, you may put your hands down. If you have a yellow star, you are met with a mixed response. Some accept you and some don't know what to think. You remain a part of your community, and with time, you'll fit in like you used to, but it's gonna take some time. If you have a yellow star, please raise your hand again. If you have a red star, your community reacts with hatred. They tell you that someone like you doesn't belong in their community. If you have a red star, please raise your hand now. You've lost access to an important community in your life. Go ahead and put your hands down. You've heard rumors start circulating at work related to your gender identity or sexual orientation. In the past, you've made it a point to confront these rumors, but they've begun to get out of control and are now unmanageable. Unfortunately, you haven't had the chance to get ahead of this. If you have a blue star, your coworkers approach you about your LGBT identity, and they let you know that they support you. Your boss reacts the same way. If you have a green star, your workplace has become quiet and strange. Everyone seems to know something about you, even though you haven't told them. Some people speak to you less, and the environment just feels weird, but you have a feeling it'll get back to normal eventually. If you have a green star, please raise your hand, leave it raised. If you have a red or a yellow star, you continue to work as though nothing happened, ignoring the rumors that spread throughout your workplace. One day you come to find that your desk has been packed up. You're called into your boss's office and it's explained to you that you're being fired. When you ask why, they tell you that lately your work has been less than satisfactory and that cutbacks have been made in your area. If you have a yellow or a red star, please raise your hand, leave it raised. You may put your hands down. Now your future lies ahead of you as an LGBT individual. Your hopes and your dreams, your wishes, this is some of what all of you have left. If you have a green, blue, or yellow star, these hopes and dreams are what keep you going. Most of you have met some level of rejection, but you continue to work towards your dreams. If you have a red star, you fall into despair. You've been met with rejection after rejection, and you find it impossible to accomplish your lifelong goals. Without the support and love of your friends and family, you become depressed, have nowhere else to turn. Many of you may begin abusing drugs or alcohol. Eventually, you feel your life is no longer worth living. If you have a red star, please turn off your camera at this time. You are now part of the more than 40% of individuals in the LGBT community who attempt, contemplate, or complete suicide. We'll pause here for a moment, and then I'll invite you to turn your cameras back on. I invite you to turn your cameras back on if you had a red star. All right, thank you everyone. So that was So that demonstration is always a little bit heavy, and it's difficult to be a part of, and it's difficult to watch because, like a lot of people in the LGBTQ plus community, I see myself reflected in a lot of those losses. And I've been very, very fortunate, but I'm aware that not everyone is as fortunate as I am. And I've had my share of hardship as well when it comes to having complications related to my identity, related to my coming out processes, related to the implicit and explicit homophobia that I've faced. I would want you to know that the whole reason we threw this together is because we want you to know that there's resources out there. There's people who care, people who you can talk to within and outside of Equitas. You know, I always think that one of the things that my identity has most taught me is not just the power that I have, although there is that, but also the power that we hold as a community, as a group of individuals who share a similar struggle and care about and nurture each other. I would encourage you to find your community, to find your resources, to let Equitas be one, and to look for others as well. And it's not always easy. I can't tell you that, especially during COVID, it's difficult. But find your safe spaces, find your people, find people to talk to. There are people out there who want to listen and want to be there for you. And there are people out there who will want and need you to be the person that listens. I feel very, very fortunate in my job to get to be a listener. And I know I'm not the only one who feels fortunate in that role. I would encourage you to please, please, please give yourself time for self-care and give yourself space to be in the community and to find what community means for you. Find those spaces where you can really let your pride flag fly. And most importantly of all, focus on yourself and what it means to be yourself. Find out all of the really cool, awesome things that exist just in you being around and being around for yourself and for others. I've been Jared Smith Valentine with Equitas Health, and I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this today.